What is up, guys? Gold Dizzy is here, and I am talking about TNA in this video. This video is all about TNA. We had Bound for Glory on Sunday, but before I talk about Bound for Glory, I want to talk about a few other things that are TNA related. And the first of that being Flair and Mick Foley. A few weeks back, these guys had a promo together. We all know that they have a history with one another, a 20-year history to be in fact, and Flair and Foley were in this promo with one another, and right off the bat, they start hitting each other in the face to show, I guess, how tough they are. And of course, blood came right after that. They bladed each other, and they're in this promo. Foley cut himself pretty bad above the eye, which he really started to bleed bad. And of course, Flair, he's not afraid to stick a razor in his forehead whatsoever. So of course, he had a good gash going. But they really are trying to add some excitement to this promo, which I think they did. But I don't think that they really needed to blade themselves. I think these guys could cut a good promo without all that. But it just seems to me like Flair has to bleed every time he's on TV. He is not scared to just go up there and do what he has to do to make the fans enjoy what they're watching. But I think he goes a little overboard. And yeah, it's a little excessive with the blood. Not a big fan of that. I like the blood, but that's just sometimes you just got to know when to use it and when not to use it. And I think that's a little overkill. Anyways, they had a match the following week, and wow, I enjoyed the match. You can say what you want to about these old guys wrestling, especially Ric Flair being in his 60s. But you got wrestling in your blood. That's just how it is. You just can't take the wrestling out of the wrestler. These guys were fans before they were wrestlers. Most of them were, that is. And of course, once they become a wrestler, wow, they become even more of a fan of it because they're not just a fan anymore. They're actually doing it. And, it's like, how can you tell these guys not to wrestle anymore, especially when they've been doing it their entire lives? As long as you can entertain me, as a fan, I'm not going to complain, if I see Ric Flair on TV, because if he's entertaining me, that's all that matters. And I think Flair is pretty entertaining. I think he'll always be that way. Yeah, wrestling, he shouldn't really be wrestling all that much, which he's not wrestling that much, but they had their match. I thought it was good, because it was entertaining. It wasn't the best technical thing, but the great thing to see was how much weight Mick Foley's lost. To me, it seemed like he's lost a lot of weight, which was great. He said he was going to bring back the old Mick Foley, and I think we saw a little bit of that in this match, and I enjoyed it. I thought Flair and Foley was great. Their history with one another. Now, the thing with that, is it kayfabe or is it actually real? I mean, it's been going, 20 years with this so-called feud they're having? And of course, yeah, in Mick Foley and in Ric Flair's book, they both have words about one another in their books. Not so pleasant words, I guess you could say. But it all started with Flair calling Mick Foley a glorified stuntman. But I'm not going to get into that. But, it's kind of like the Montreal screw job. Some people think that it's, all a work. But, who really knows? I guess no one ever will. But let's see. Let's talk about Fortune real quick. Flair's a part of Fortune. He's the leader of the group. And Fortune, they came about many months ago, and I really enjoyed it because I'm a big fan of stables, and having stables in TNA is great because it makes it more enjoyable. I wish the WWE would have more stables, but they don't. They have the Nexus, but this is TNA we're talking about, not the WWE. But I'm enjoying Fortune. It's unfortunate what happened to him at Bound for Glory, but I'm going to get to that when I review the pay-per-view momentarily. But and they is another thing I want to talk about. Wow, they ended up being not what I expected them to be. Not at all. I'm going to go ahead and tell you who I was thinking maybe they would be. You think about Abyss. He's the so-called spokesperson for their group. And you would think, well, who has he had ties with in the past? And I think about James Mitchell, his old, manager. Now, I wasn't watching TNA back in these days, but I know a little bit of the history, and to me it would be great to see James Mitchell, be a part of them, and maybe some other old TNA guys that I don't know about because I haven't been watching TNA that long. But who they ended up being was kind of crazy. But we'll get to that. Actually, let's get to Bound for Glory real quick. I didn't watch it live. I watched it last night, to be in fact, and I thought it was good. Good show. Wow, I was really impressed. A lot of people complained about it with their opinions and all that. And that's great. That's what the YWC is for. But I think sometimes people nitpick just a little bit too much. But I'm going to do my best to pull out the positives of the pay-per-view, and let's just get with it. We have Motor City Machine Guns and Generation Me with a tag team title match right off the bat. What a great way to open the show, because you've got two great tag teams, and TNA has tag teams down pat. They have the Motor City Machine Guns, Generation Me, they have Beer Money. They have a nice little handful of tag team talent, and that's a plus for TNA because they're keeping the tag team division alive more than the WWE is. You know, tag teams really aren't all that cared for in TNA, but at least they're getting tag team title matches, and they're getting some really great matches. Motor City Machine Guns defeated Generation Me. What a great match. These guys, of course, were giving us some of the same old stuff that we've been seeing, but they brought new stuff, which made the match so much more enjoyable. It was a great opener. Really, really awesome match. Next, we had the Knockouts title match. 4-corner match. Tara, Velvet Sky, Madison Rayne, and Angelina Love. Tara wins the match. I thought the match was good. I enjoyed it. We got to see Velvet Sky and Angelina Love lock up. I thought they did a pretty good job in there in the ring. But it's a women's match. What more can you ask for? I thought it was good. It entertained me, and that's that. Next, we have Inc. going up against Eric Young and Orlando Jordan. Many people complain because we just saw the match on Impact, which, yeah, I guess you could say that you know that's a reason to complain. But you know what I found great about the match was Eric Young. Eric Young was hilarious. Eric Young pretending to be the referee. Eric Young trying to be on their team. He's just doing all kinds of crazy things, and he was having me rolling throughout the whole match, which, to me, that's a good thing. So I thought the match was good just because of that. No, there wasn't a lot of great wrestling, and there wasn't a lot of technical wrestling. It was just a match, but you had Eric Young that all of a sudden just decided to double cross his tag team partner. He just went to town on Orlando Jordan, really beat the hell out of him. And of course, Inc. got the win. Thought it was a good match. Next, we have the X Division title match. Jay Lethal, Doug Williams. I don't remember much of this match. Jay Lethal wins the match, I know that, but it wasn't memorable. Doug Williams had the X Division title. He's in Fortune. It was great to see Fortune with the gold. But now that they're losing the gold, and it just seems as Fortune is kind of losing steam, especially when we get to the Lethal Lockdown match. But next we have RVD and Abyss in the Monsters Ball match. I enjoyed the match. I thought it was pretty good. I thought RVD could have been a little more aggressive in the match, especially since what Abyss did to him. But, I have to say it was enjoyable, and I'm not going to complain about it. The only thing I will complain about is that RVD should have put a little bit more fire in his ass. Abyss really brutalized RVD all those weeks ago, and yeah, I sort of thought that he would try to do more to Abyss. But regardless, the match was good. Sting, Nash, Pope. They defeated Jeff Jarrett and Samoa Joe. The only notable thing to mention, I should say, in this match is Jeff Jarrett's heel turn. Win against Samoa Joe, which was caused Sting and Nash and Pope to win the match. Okay. Team 3D, they announced that they are retiring, but they're going to have one more match against Motor City Machine Guns, and that's that. What can you say about Team 3D, man? They're great. One of the best tag teams of all time, if not the greatest, because they have all that gold. 23-time tag team champions. Let's get the Lethal Lockdown real quick. EV2 defeated Fortune. Now, I was just talking about Fortune at the beginning of the video. I liked Fortune. They're great. They had the gold, but now they're starting to lose the gold. AJ Styles still has the TV title, but Doug Williams lost the X Division title a few weeks back, and they lost the match to EV2. EV2 sucks. Let's just face it, man. I'm not a fan of EV2. I wish that they would go somewhere. They had their pay-per-view that was supposed to give them all this credit, let them have their one last hurrah. How long ago was that? Why are they still on TV? They're taking up time from somebody else. That's all I'm saying. The match with EV2 and Fortune, it was an okay match. I just didn't like the way it turned out. I really wish Fortune would have won this match. Fortune, man, they need the credibility more than EV2 does. You got a lot of great talent in Fortune. Beer Money, Doug Williams, AJ Styles. You got a lot of great stuff. Kazarian. Why are they losing? It doesn't make sense. But the match was still good. I just did not like the end. Last match, main event. TNA World Title on the line, guys. Jeff Hardy, Kurt Angle, Mr. Anderson. And I want to say that Mr. Anderson really convinced me last night that he is a good worker in the ring. Wow. Because I used to think that, man, Mr. Anderson uses his mic skills to, he uses the mic skills to overcompensate for his lack of wrestling ability in the ring. And wow, he really proved me wrong last night. Really good match. All these guys did a great job. Jeff Hardy, Kurt Angle, Mr. Anderson, every one of them did a good job. Of course, the big shocker was Jeff Hardy, who won the match and became the TNA World Champion, but he actually turned heel. Eric Bischoff comes out with a chair. We have no idea what he's doing. Of course, we still don't know who they are, so everyone's wondering what's going on. He comes out with a chair. He doesn't hit anybody because Hulk Hogan's music comes out. Hulk Hogan's coming out in his crutches, hobbling down to the ring. And what does Eric Bischoff and Hulk Hogan do? They hand the chair to Jeff Hardy, I believe. Well, anyways, they come out in the ring, and everyone turns heel. Jeff Jarrett comes out. He turned heel in the other match earlier in the night. So you have Hardy, Hogan, Bischoff, Abyss, and Jeff Jarrett. They are they. And, wow. I'm a little disappointed. I just didn't expect they to be those guys. We've already seen Hogan and Bischoff do this kind of thing. It's not 1996 anymore, guys. NWO is old. It's over. You can't duplicate it. You just can't. Often imitated, but never duplicated. That's for sure. But they should not have been that. I just wish that they was someone else. But anyways, I'm not going to say that their little stable is going to fail. Haven't seen much from it yet because they just formed. But anyways, that's the review. I thought Bound for Glory was a good pay-per-view. I really thought all the matches delivered in some way, shape, form, or fashion. They were either entertaining, it was either a really great match with great technical work, or it was just entertaining. And I think that's what's most important with watching wrestling. Are you entertained? Don't watch a match and try to find out if how many headlocks were used and how many of this and that was used, because it takes the fun out of it. Just watch it and enjoy it, guys. This is Gold Izzy. Let me know what you think about TNA. What are you liking about it? What are you disliking about it? Please let me know what you like about it. I'm sure there's something in there that you guys can enjoy. But anyways, this is Gold Izzy. Peace out.